The job of an electrician is never easy, but luckily for you, there's a couple of tools out there that are sure to make things a lot simpler in the long run. So join us as we take a journey through a modern-day professional's toolbox and single out some of the best electrical gadgets money can buy. 1. The Lil Ripper Stripper. First up on our list is a gadget that no electrician should be without. We are, of course, referring to the Lil Ripper Stripper, which is not only incredibly fun to say, but qualifies as a tool that makes all the difference when you have it hanging from your belt. And while it may just look like an ordinary wire stripper, it's actually so much more than that. As it turns out, the Lil Ripper Stripper not only strips wires in the cleanest way possible, but can also be used as a sheathing cutter, wire bender, measuring gauge, and wire nut wrench. With capabilities like this, it's really no wonder that professional electricians swear by it. In fact, experts suggest that there is no better gadget out there when it comes to the sheathing of non-metallic cables. According to the blurb on the box, the little tooth inside of the contraption does a great job of sheathing the casing as you slide a cable of any size through. This is done with precision, as well as the guarantee that no unprotected wire will be sliced by the tooth. Better yet, since the teeth of the Lil Ripper Stripper are on the inside of its casing, you won't be slicing your fingers open, as could be the case when using an ordinary utility knife. Considering how time is money when it comes to the electrical industry, it goes without saying that the Lil Ripper Stripper is a pretty handy tool to have. Just try it for yourself. 2. The PowerSlot Diagonal Cutter. Next up on our list is a gadget formerly known as the PowerSlot Diagonal Cutter, which just so happens to have been created by the geniuses behind Irwin Tools. But since diagonal cutters have been used for ages now, is it really necessary to spend more money on something which is essentially the same as the one you currently have? Well, the easy answer to that question is no. As it turns out though, the PowerSlot is no conventional diagonal cutter. It comes in a variety of sizes ranging from 6 inches to 9.5 inches and has a power output that is completely off the charts. Seriously though, according to the statistics presented, the PowerSlot diagonal cutter has the ability to exert twice the cutting power of an ordinary diagonal cutter with the same amount of hand squeeze. In other words, you'll be able to save yourself a lot of pain and suffering by getting your hands on this incredible gadget. You'll find yourself free of calluses in next to no time with the amount of force that you no longer have to exert over large periods of time. Don't just take our word for it though. Professional electricians have been flocking to Amazon to get their hands on this gadget, which is so strong that even a solid steel chain link can be sliced in two using them. Suffice to say, you'll never need another cutting tool with this handy little diagonal cutter in your back pocket. 3. The Twist-A-Nut Screwdriver. And then we have the Twist-A-Nut Screwdriver, which is, as simple as it is, brilliant. Since electricians work with their hands, there's no doubt that some wear and tear is to be expected. This is especially true when it comes to a large wiring project that requires a certain number of wire nuts to be twisted into place. And while one little wire nut may not look too threatening, you'll never look at it again after the 20th one that you've twisted in place using your fingers. But if you're sick and tired of being wounded in the midst of battle, there's no better gadget than the Twist-A-Nut Screwdriver, which actually has a recess in its handle that can be used to grip and tighten wire nuts without much effort. Twisting the connector closed using your arm instead of your fingers will save you from some intense pain and suffering. And since the recess in question has ports for both plain and winged connectors, you'll be covered in both instances. Experts have also stated that the Twist-A-Nut Screwdriver works well with all brands on the market at the moment, but when it comes to orange connectors, these can sometimes be too small. Red and yellow connectors, on the other hand, which are the most prevalent, are fair game though. Ideal Industries haven't just created one Twist-A-Nut screwdriver either. Electricians will actually have a choice between several options, including a 7-in-1 ratcheting model that is more useful than you could imagine. 4. Milwaukee's 10-inch reaming pliers. Another useful tool to have on your belt is the 10-inch reaming pliers from Milwaukee, which, as you can imagine, is a lot better for any job than other pliers currently on the market. What makes the reaming pliers from Milwaukee so incredible is the fact that they have been made with their very own reamers. No longer will you find yourself removing the grip from your pliers in an attempt to smooth out a pipe, leaving you vulnerable with a tool that is no longer shock resistant. Keeping its rubber handles in place, the 10-inch pliers can be used to clinch anything of up to 2 inches. In the same sense, its metallic reamers on the edge of each handle can be used to deburr the inside rim of piping up to 2 inches as well. All that is required of the electrician is to force the reamer into the piping and rotate slowly, clearing anything obstructing the piping in the process. So, if you've been looking for a new set set of pliers, it goes without saying that the 10-inch reaming pliers from Milwaukee are the way to go. 5. The Gardner Bender Tapping and Rethreading Tool. When it comes to the unscrewing of metal electrical boxes, the built-in screw holes are pretty easy to strip. All this requires is the electrician in question using a force that is a little too much for the holes to handle, and when this happens, not many viable options remain. Many professionals swear by the use of a drywall screw to loosen and essentially replace the stripped screw hole, but this is more often than not a bad idea since the sharp tip of the screw can poke through any wire insulation in the immediate vicinity, and if there's one thing an electrician should never do, it's leaving wire insulation in a poorer state than you found it. This is why the Gardner Bender Tapping and Rethreading Tool is such a useful buy. For those of you who have yet to experience the majesty of this tool, it can actually cut new threads into the stripped hole in next to no time at all. That being said, a successful rethreading will also resize the hole, often from a number 832 screw to a number 1032 screw. In other words, if you end up buying and using this tool, be sure to bring a number of different screw types with you. It's always better to be safe than sorry after all. 6. Push-in connectors from any brand. In the past, twist-on wire connectors were often used in an attempt to connect wires with one another, but while this is still considered by many professional electricians to be the traditional way, it's by no means the simplest. Remember, twist-ons require the wire ends in question to have an almost perfect alignment with one another, and once this has been achieved, all wires and connectors have to be packed as neatly as possible in a box to prevent shifting. If you ask us, it's way easier to make use of any push-in connectors, as these save both time and money at the end of the day. All an electrician has to do when it comes to jobs requiring wire connections is strip the wires to the recommended length and press each stripped wire into the connector as shown. These connectors also tend to be a lot smaller than the twist-on variety, which make for jobs that look a lot more organized when completed. And at the end of the day, they can also be used to extend wires that are just too short. It's crazy just how many uses such a tiny gadget can have, which is what finds them on our list in the first place. 7. The Carlin box. Last but not least, we have the Carlin box, which is an electrical box that can be adjusted until it's flush with the wall. And as it turns out, having an adjustable electrical box is incredibly useful when you're in the process of renovating your home. Essentially, it allows you the opportunity to install any wiring when you're still unsure of the tiling you wish to layer around it. In the case of the Carlin box, a screw can be turned to adjust it to a different level, allowing the electrician on site to have it tightened against the newly laid tile days after the installation of the wiring. It might not be necessary, but it's definitely useful. The most important tool of all is knowledge though, so remember. If you're already an electrician running your own business or just about to start and grow your own electrical business, you must learn the 4 critical things electrical business owners wish they had learned before starting an electrical business so you don't make the same mistakes. Electrician Accelerator has put together a free training video you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your electrical business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work, free up your time, all while reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you will also learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand and with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word-of-mouth referrals, how to stop competing on price with other electricians and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that will be happy to pay more. Make sure to click the link